Lately I've been thinking about this life and how it brought me here. Staring at this man in the mirror, I see him often. He'll wipe my tears. Only if you knew what I was going through. Only if you walked it in my shoes.
Welcome to the Message Hope podcast, where the hope stands for hearing other people's experience. My name is Adam.
My name is Mike, and today in the studio we have a perfect example of the program working in somebody's life. When I met this dude, he was pretty angry. And,
He still is.
He still is. But
A little bit.
He holds it in. So, Carlos, thank you for coming to the podcast.
Well, thank you guys for enlisting me, man. You know, it was a minute. I got kind of jealous people doing a podcast, and I wasn't invited to the party.
Man, you're definitely always invited, bro.
All right, so
Yeah. So, go ahead, Mike. You want to ask us some questions? Start off the
so
podcast?
pretty much, since you haven't listened, the way we start it is, where did you grow up? How did you grow up?
Well-
what was it like for you growing up?
well, I grew up in the service. I was born in Germany, Nuremberg, Germany. My dad was a veteran, Vietnam veteran Army, so I was an Army brat. Mom and dad both, Americans, of course. Can't you tell? Look at me. Right? But after they broke up, Norwalk, California, and it was rough. It was a rough life, Mom was raised to be a housewife, and she always loved being an Army wife. But that was all thrown to the wind. And my grandfather, her father, was a World War II combat veteran. He was a POS, man, straight up. Had five aunts and an uncle. The uncle was state raised. He was a Degato. It was a bunch of chaos, and to me, coming into that mess at 8 years old, it was a shock coming from military life to civilian life. It was a big shocker, man. It's in the mid-'70s. So being quite as it kept, but we dealt with it. So that's where I got introduced to drugs, and not doing them, but seeing them.
Right.
And seeing people loaded at a young age. Finding my uncle's rigs in the backyard. We're throwing needles in the cactus, man. Oh, look at this, poof, as kids and stuff, right? Him running from the cops, man. We're going to elementary school. Hop in the fence. There goes Uncle Rudy.
Right.
So that's how I kind of grew up for a minute.
And it's crazy. Like, I remember my mom, when we were kids and we'd be at the playground, she would teach us about syringes. She would teach us, if you see a needle, do not touch it and do not pick it up, right? And it's crazy that we're like brought up in an environment where we have to be taught about syringes being at a playground. You know what I mean? And so from the day you were born till 8 years old, were you guys traveling everywhere, or was it just?
Yeah, it's like so I was born in Germany, 18 months. My dad got stationed back in the States at Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Okay.
And then my mom got pregnant, and it was like 68, 69, and my dad got orders to Vietnam, so we came back here to Norwalk, California. He deployed to Vietnam 70, 71. Let me back some up, okay? From Germany, we went to Maryland to Kentucky.
Okay.
And then my brother came along when my dad was in Vietnam. So 70, 71, came back in 71. We went back to Maryland. 72, you got stationed in Okinawa, Japan. I went to kindergarten, first grade in Okinawa, Japan.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy. We can hear the bombings in Vietnam from where we were at, the Arc-Light carpet bombings.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were doing combat sorties off of Okinawa, the Marine Corps and the Navy, the fighter jets. It was crazy. I mean, see, it was a different time for me, man. It was like I miss it, dude. I miss that crap.
Yeah.
But it was an innocent life, bro. We were sheltered so much. I was raised Christian, okay, in the Christian faith. My dad was Catholic, but almost converted him,
Yeah.
But back then, we ran. In our church, we had missionaries who were doctors and dentists, and they did their National Geographic stuff. Went to neighboring islands, right? Slept in abandoned churches, and the villagers would come out and they would, examine them, do the little minor surgeries and junk. We go snorkeling in the ocean. We're crystal, like you see in the movies, crystal blue, man. It was pretty. I had a pretty cool, upbringing until 8 years old. Then my whole world turned upside down.
Like a culture shock, right?
Yeah, coming out from civilian to that, it was like, and I'm the oldest, is me and my brother, right? So I'm the oldest, so I kind of had to get tough quick. Had to get tough real quick. So that's why I guess I was angry, but I was quietly angry.
Right.
And I didn't start, even when I was growing up, and I was a good kid, but I was mischievous, and I did my dirty deeds under the shadows, Carlos wouldn't do that. They don't know, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the first time I got loaded, right, I was I think 11 years old, 10 or 11, and it was during like 82 or 83 Super Bowl. And my mom's best friend, I don't know where she was, but my mom's best friend and her husband is a younger dude. We used to go out, and her son was one of my best friends. Well, he wasn't there. He was with his dad. So me and one of the neighbor kids went over there, and the guy named was Tony goes, hey, he had a chili pepper, jalapeno. Goes, if you eat one of these and down that beer, I'll give you $1. Okay. So that's how I first getting loaded right there. 3 beers, of course, I was shit-faced,
Yeah.
But it wasn't like it wasn't a ongoing thing because I was kind of a jock. I was a jock. Smoked weed once in a while. Drank more than I smoked weed.
Yeah.
But all my run the streets was like after hours and dark because my mom was a single mother, working, trying to make ends meet. We're struggling, and had to take care physically. Had to take care of my family. So that's how I was raised. Really, that's how my mom loved us no matter what. My dad was a POS as a father, but a good soldier.
So your dad just wasn't in the picture?
Oh no, man! Even though he was at Fort Lewis, Washington, wasn't far. He just wasn't, man. He was never there. And he was a womanizer. He was an alcoholic, but he didn't want to take responsibility for everything, right? But that was it hurt, but then I moved on from it. When I look back at it, it's like, you know what? I don't want to end up being like my dad, and I end up being like him, exactly like him. Just like my uncle Rudy. I just said I never want to be like him, but I ended up being like him too. Yeah. That was a trip, And I joined the service in high school, and Jock had joined honor roll, and I joined the military. I joined it during the Cold War, so I went to Germany off the bat. I was in the infantry, and I always that's when I started smoking weed, right? So I ended up going over there, drinking at 18 years old in Germany. Man, you don't send a private at 18 years old to Germany, dude. That beer is off. That beer is smashy, man.
Yeah.
You get smashed real quick. And American beer is just like water, bro. I mean, it's the way it is, man. And I started smoking hash with one of the cats at the platoon, the company I went to, right? They say, don't hang out with their platoon. They're a bunch of troublemakers, a bunch of potheads, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. Well, and that's who I started hanging out with. I mean, good soldiers, real good soldiers, but they just like getting high. You're not supposed to do that in the service.
Yeah.
That's where I started smoking hashish. And it was imported from Afghanistan. That's when the Soviet Union was in Afghanistan, and Osama bin Laden was fighting against the Russians. He was on our side at one time. Mm-hmm. So it was that bubblegum Afghan black hash, but it was knock your pee-pee in the dirt, bro. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I got busted on a piss test, man. almost ended my career. Oh, and I put myself into treatment because I didn't want to get humiliate my family's name.
Right.
So 87 is when I started. So like 85, I joined the service. I went in military. By 87, I was already in a treatment program, lockdown treatment. And it was at the hospital I was born in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In Germany.
In Germany, West Germany. And they told us, you need to tell your parents. Every one of us had to tell our family where we were at.
Right.
So I told my mom. She started crying, like oh wow, and that crushed me.
Yeah.
But you guys, back then, treatment wasn't like it is now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that, right? Because
Oh,
there was
no,
a big
dude.
difference back then, right?
It's in your face, raw. You piece of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, bad. Like I thought when I came to treatment. Anyhow, so we're sticking the timeline.
Was that treatment center for military only?
It was in the U.S. Army Hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in Germany. So, no, you don't go outsource there, man. Ain't nothing like that. No. But yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, and the only thing was it was pretty cool. It's a hospital, so we had to be in our Class B's, uniforms, the nice ones, not the BDUs, the camouflage. You on the floor, everyone was by their first name, no matter what rank. But off the floor, you addressed them accordingly by their rank.
Okay.
And the only female on the floor I ended up hooking up with. So I graduated, right, and I relapsed real quick with her. She was
So were they like running groups? Were they?
It was
like therapy, counseling, one-on-one.
it was groups, but it was in your face, raw type of.
Like, stop being a fucking
No
pussy.
nonsense, I mean, I made one of the counselors, rehash some stuff. He was my dad's rank at E8, and he goes, "F you, Carlos, how dare you make me think about that shit?" He was crying. I'm like, whoa. I mean, that's how bad. I mean, that's how rough. It was in your face. Don't care about your feelings. No. Right? Not like here where you got to baby cuddle people, where you got to worry about their feelings. There was no worrying about your feelings in there.
Right.
How do you guys think I came out so raw? The streets you ain't going to treat you nice. In my addiction, I wasn't treated nice.
Yeah.
So that's how, that's when I said, that's how I was raised in the streets. That's how I deal with shit. And that's how I went to treatment. I mean, I was in the infantry. My job was to kill another human being. Put bullets on foreheads, bro. And a bullet catcher, right? What kind of job is that, man? But that was a job, anyhow. So it was in your face, But I didn't plan to relapse, but I did it half-assed to save my butt from not getting kicked out.
Right.
Okay, that's the straight up truth. And I was engaged, so I was cheating on my fiance, who was gonna be my first wife. Me and that female, we relapsed because she lived. Her post was not far from mine, and we relapsed. Little country girl, hillbilly from Ohio. She kind of looks like someone in the room, so I'll tell you guys offline later. All right, and so yeah, man. And then I didn't learn my lesson, so I kept dodging urinalysis, right? I was supposed to get UA because I went to treatment. Well, you always hear rumors of, there's going to be UA, so I was still smoking, right? I was still smoking. And dodging bullets until I almost was leaving country, coming back home. I got popped on a urinalysis, man. I was 3 weeks to the house. Well, coming back home, I was still had time on my enlistment, and I just reenlisted too, man. They were gonna kick me out. They said, "Oh man," I'm like, "Wow." But what saved my bacon was the ladies from the recovery clinic on post, right? Because we had a recovery clinic on post, like kind of like the STAR program, like that. And they saved my butt. My platoon sergeant, my squad leader, they went to bat for me, big time. Sergeant Major hated me after that. I was squared away. You know, I got to put on the Sergeant E5 list, right? I was promotable, E4 promotable to sergeant, and I was just a shitbird after that to him. You know, my platoon leader, a lieutenant, he goes, you know, Jimenez, you're a good soldier, but you know what? I'm gonna screw you because he got a couple DUIs and they barred him from enlistment, from advancing. He had to get out.
Right.
So he was forced to get out. And that's an officer, all right? So he goes, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna recommend the max. I go, Roger that, sir, I understand. You know, but by the grace of God, man, I skated. I had just extra duty. I had to get escorted everywhere I went. Yeah, I had it escorted by an NCO, a sergeant.
Yeah.
Only way I can go is to church, to the mess hall and back, and had extra duty after work, you know. And that was my life until I left. And then, but when the conditions of my, and I had a suspended bus, so I'll still have my rank, but if I screw up again, I'll get the rank of a private. But anyhow, they told me when you get to Fort Irwin, I got stationed in Fort Irwin, California. You know where that's at, right?
No.
In Barstow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. They said, you need to go turn yourself into the recovery clinic. I go, okay. We're going to send your paperwork ahead of time. All right. So when you go to a new post, you go to to a unit where all the new people coming in is going to in process. So right. I did that, and I processed the whole base. I went there, gave my rank, my last name. They said, I'm supposed to do this. And they said, we don't got nothing on you. I'm like, all right, cool. Boom.
How old were you then?
21.
21.
I was 21 years old.
Right.
This was in 88. How old are you guys?
How old am I right now?
How old were you in 88?
Born.
How about you, baby boy?
I wasn't born yet.
That's why I call you baby boy. That's why I call you baby Mike.
Yeah,
man.
I was born in 88, so.
So I call you baby Mike. Anyhow, so yeah, but the thing is, I still was drinking, right? So I got married, high school sweetheart, but she didn't like Army life because of my drinking. It wasn't like being in this field a lot because it was a training base, but I was a bad drunk.
Yeah.
Terrible. Always fought when I was drunk, and it kept on. Gained a lot of weight in there, but I still can do my PT. Then the war happened. I was there when Operation Just Cause in Panama. Went to go get Noriega because he was harassing. Anyhow, with that happened, and then Desert Storm. We thought we were going to go, but then we ended up training guard units and reserves to go over to Kuwait, to go to Iraq. So all that happened. I got stop loss, but I was still drinking, man. And then right at the end of that, I started dabbling in meth a little bit, but I wasn't full blown going into it. And then at the end, by the time I was getting out, I started smoking crack, trying it, you know. But that wasn't my bag. So after I got out, before I got out, the first sergeant called about 7 of us in his. That's one of your main top sergeants in the company. He goes, check it out, gentlemen. You guys are getting out of the service. And this was, I'm like, what? So it was like, the war's over. You're getting out. He pulls me aside, says, Jimenez, you know what? You're losing weight. You're doing good. You're E4 promotable. How about if we extend you 6 months? Would you want to stay in so we could say your NCO PLDC is Primary Leadership Development Course? You need that school to get promoted to sergeant. So I go, let me go talk to my wife. And I go there and I say, this is what's happened. She goes, if you stay, I'm going to leave you. I say, went back, I'll get out. Oh, by that time I had my oldest. She was born in 1990. And right now she's going in labor as we speak.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. She started last night. So,
man.
My first grandkid.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank
That's
you,
awesome.
man. So she's 34 too, there, baby Mike. Yeah. So, yeah. So got out, went to live with her parents. We went back to Norwalk. Okay. And they're Mexican, right from Mexico. Still was drinking a lot, but it wasn't working. I wasn't happy, and couldn't find a job. I would go from job to job, and then one day I ended up falling into, I forgot how I got it. Then one of my moms, she was floating around. My mom was drinking a lot too, and my mom got cleaned up real quick before I did. And, well, one of her boyfriends hooked me up with Roofers Union, okay? And I started in the summer in August, okay, and it was industrial roofing. And I seen there the foremans there were drinking drinking during break. The foreman I was on, and the crew I was on, he was smoking weed. I was like, I think I'm going to like this job, man.
Yeah.
You know? Well, I was drinking, I break and stuff and everything, and then went to my Nino, right? And that's when I fell into speed, bro. Okay, crank. And that's where I fell in love with it. And that's where me and my wife we drifted. I kind of started screwing around. I always screwed out on my first wife. And that's where I started doing meth an awful lot. I ended up leaving my wife and my daughter over dope, fast women, and alcohol. And I knew I had a problem, but I didn't want to admit it. It was your fault, And her parents blamed her for us breaking up. It was all Mexican households where the man could do no wrong.
Right.
If he wants to screw around, it's okay. Seriously. Right?
Yeah.
And, it's all your fault, not his. He didn't like me before, but he ended up loving me. But, I didn't go to rehab or nothing, man. That's where I started a 12-year run, dude. This was like in 90, 91, 92. It got real bad real quick. I mean, started hanging out with still working, but my work was lacking, and my foreman could tell that, hey, what are you using? What do you want, bro? People seen that I was acting like a cartoon character, man.
Right.
But I didn't want to admit it. I mean, I lost a good job over me using.
Right.
But I didn't care. I didn't care. Anything else you guys want to ask me, man?
No. So the 12-year run, like, what did it look like for you?
It was ugly, man. So when I started using meth, okay, and was still had that job on and off because it was a union job. I couldn't get fired, right? Even though I wasn't in the union. I was running with this cat who was a big dealer, right?
Okay.
So I would get my dope for free because I was one of his bodyguards and a tax man, right? The small stature I was, but I was a mother, bro, And I was one of those guys you see in the movies who used to babysit his old lady and his kid.
Yeah.
Because he could trust me, which he could. I wouldn't touch her, right? And she'd say, why are you always watching me? I'll go, I don't know, man. Just whatever. Just let whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So there was a couple of incidents I'm going to tell you about real quick. So one, there was this club in Riverside or somewhere out here. It was a young and beautiful club. He goes, I know they hate Cooley. Don't worry, we're going to get in for free. I go, we'll see. In my head, I'm like, yeah, right. So I had a 38 on me, right? No shit. Go straight in there. He introduced me to some people, right? I'm so wired, man, and I'm just talking crap to everybody. So I see this dude, right? This is 92. I know for a fact because the Seoul Olympics just happened. I see this big entourage, and everyone's just hanging around this one dude, and I go over there and go, this guy looks like a guy I played football with in school. I go, hey, what's up, Eddie? I go, you're not Eddie. And it was the golden boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
Okay.
I go, you fucking chump. You think you're my man? Fuck you, Bob. I was talking shit to him.
Oscar De La Hoya?
Yeah, you think you're an American because you won the gold medal, punk. I was in the United States Army. Blah, blah.
All right.
Yeah, dude, he just looked at me like this fool, man. So after, I don't remember after that, I pretty much blacked out. I was like, coming down. I woke up a couple days later and goes, that wasn't so smart. I could have got knocked the hell out by Oscar De La Hoya, bro.
Yeah.
I
kind of wish you would have. That would have been a perfect story for
I know, huh? But he just looked at me and just shined me on. Yeah, okay. But, that was, and another one where this guy's going by nickname Monster, the guy I was, running with, being his bodyguard. We went to this Bicep bar in Industry. Again, I'm had a couple quarters in me, right? And the bartender's trans. Everyone in there is spun. Everyone's spun, and I'm like, oh crap, I can't speak a lick of Spanish. I'm sitting at the end of the bar. I'm like, I'm starting to get really nervous, really damn nervous. So I go, I need to go take a licazo, go to the restroom, and they're doing lines on the urinal. And 2 bites of ice screw me. I'm like, okay, this is going to get evil real quick. So I go back. I go, I'm going to shoot this motherfucker. I'm going to shoot him. And I grab Monster. I'm going to just start shooting my way out of here. And I was about to. They said, come on there, Monster. Come on, Rich, let's get the hell out of here. I'm like, all right. Because I was about to pull the trigger, dude. I mean, that's how paranoid I was getting. I was like, damn, bro. I mean, some of the situation it got me into, and I started running the streets after that. I started running with unsavory people, certain gangs that are not our color. Okay, I was stabbed 5 times in the streets, dude, because of my addiction. So I went from here, California, and I got married again, and we ended up going to Hollywood. This chick was a punker chick. Hardcore punk rock, dude. We did roids together. We did speed. She was a new dancer. Really, really tough chick. You talking about some mutual combat, talking about dragged out fist fights. Yeah, that was terrible. And every time there's a gloomy day around here, it reminds me of my second marriage. It was just one terrible, sad thing. And it was because of her that I neglected my oldest. She didn't like kids, so I said, okay, whatever. All right. Yeah. And I look back, and that was the worst decision I ever made. In my addiction, because of her, I made the decision to not be a part of my daughter's life. And I used to drink over that, too. Later on, down the road, I was so ashamed of what I did. Because I knew that marriage wasn't going to last. It was a rebound.
Right.
A rebound because one of the girlfriends I had was so in love with, she broke my heart, all right, that the first chick, first pretty face, whatever, man, same type of music, same lifestyle, whatever, man. And I knew it wasn't going to work, dude. It wasn't going to work. I was full blown into my meth use, right? So we were both doing speed. We were both not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And then, that was in the end of 95, I ended up running from the law here in California and going to Tucson. My dad's side is from Tucson. So over there, I was still drinking, then I was still smoking. I didn't do speed a lot over there. That's when I fell into crack. The crack scene over there. And that was just like how we say, right? In our addiction, we're going to find, if we want to find dope, we're going to find dope.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what state, what country. I'm going to find a way to get loaded.
100%.
And that's what happened, man. I had a taste of crack in the military, but speed wasn't the big thing there. But I ended up finding crack and fell into the wrong crowd real quick, man. And so it was the same story, but different city.
Yeah.
Same story, different city, man.
It's like deja vu.
All over again.
Yeah.
I know this thing, but you know what? To me, that was normal. The chaos was normal.
Yeah.
I didn't start coming to rehab until I mean, my mom was enabling me. You know what? I got stabbed a couple of times. Got booked pretty good over there. And one of the girls who I was getting dope from, she was one of the main dealers in Tucson, right? And she ended up liking me, so she ended up taking care of me. How do you know having a girlfriend that's a dope dealer?
Yeah.
But that was crazy too,
You
right
lucky
there.
dog.
Oh, she was crazy, man. No, she was. So one of the second to last times I got booked, right? This was nasty when I was at the University of Arizona. And I was on a morphine drip, you know. I don't know how my mom found out, but I think
How many times did you get stabbed?
5.
Okay. You want to talk about that a little bit?
So the first one was it was in Orange County. I was running with skinheads. Okay. And I got set up by one of the Mexican dudes. He didn't like me for some reason. But and I was sleeping with one of the skinheads' old ladies. I didn't know. He was locked up. I didn't know until after the fact.
Yeah.
Dude just straight up, he set me up. Anyhow, I got stabbed. Okay. And that one, I mean, I hung around for a while. I didn't run. I hung around for a while. And the guy he was like, wow, this guy got some fucking balls, man.
Yeah.
You know? I hung around. I didn't run, you know, after that incident. And then the second time is like, I told you one in Tucson, I got hit right here in the arm and in the side. And in the side, it perforated my colon. I was bleeding internally.
Oh, wow.
Because one of the people I was getting high with is a female, and her husband beat her up. She comes in crying all black and blue. I go, where is this punk? He's down by the bus stop. So I go, okay, went down there, and he just booked me. I'm all stuck. I'm going to get back. I'll come back. I'm going to kick your fucking ass, you know. Go back, and I'm bleeding like a stuck pig. But then that's when Tina found out what happened. And then I was watching her back, too, until we became an item. And she came in, and she told my mom what happened to me. And my mom showed up.
And Tina was the dealer?
The crack dealer, yeah.
Okay.
And she, anyhow, so this is how bad she was. It was around Easter time, right? So I'm about to get released from the hospital. She brings me this big bunny rabbit, right? Easter rabbit. That's electronic. All right. This is how paranoid she was. She had an 8-ball of Coke in there in the hospital, okay? Had an 8-ball of Coke. And when we got back to the house, her house, right, cut it out, she had a couple 8 balls of Coke in that rabbit. Because she would get jacked because she's a female. I was like, what? Because the ward I was on, they had a cop at that ward because they were afraid whoever booked me was going to come back and try to kill me. But it didn't happen. She ended up getting that guy taken care of. I found out later. I was like, don't mess with this chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it was terrible, bro. I mean, I got stabbed more in Tucson than I did in California, but it was all in my addiction, dude. Ripping people off, pinching their dope and crap. Loudmouth frog, taking on 2-3 guys and getting booked, acting a fool. And my mom, I was calling my mom crying, I want to come home. She'll wire me $60. I want to come home. I'll go buy some dope. So finally, did coming home, right? Because a couple of my friends, they were lesbians. They were veterans, and they got high, crack and shit, pop pills, and they told me, Carlos, you need to go home. But they're gonna kill you out here. These people don't like you. They're gonna kill you. You need to go home. So I go, all right. So I went home, and I told my mom when I got there, I need to go to treatment. She goes, yeah, you're not going to go to the VA. You're going to go to a Christian recovery home. I go, okay.
What year was this?
This was in 2001. It was through a Christian church, Calvary Chapel, through prison ministry. And the chaplain who ran it, he was a felon. You have to be a felon and you have to be a Christian to get into this recovery home. They have a recovery of House of Esther and the House of Jeremiah, and they're in Long Beach. And everyone's dope fiends, and they're all dope fiends and all that. So it was a discipleship program. So this is my first time I stayed clean for 10 months.
Okay.
Before I relapsed on alcohol, which led to smoking weed, which led to relapsing on speed.
All right.
So that was at 2003. And that one, were you talking about going back to where you left off? Oh, yeah, bro. I went straight back to where I left off, and it got worse real quick. I was in the psychosis. Put it like this, you know how they're coming to get you? They're trying to kill me.
Yeah.
You're talking to different people, and you don't see them, but you're talking to them.
Right.
And I was, peeking out the windows a lot, and there's a cholo across the street that lived with his mom, and I'm like, this guy doesn't like me. He's gonna come and get me. I was on one, right? So I called the cops. Hey, man, they're trying to kill me. Who's trying to kill you? They're trying to kill me. I jumped out, ran out, and jumped out my second floor window, dude, on the run. And this is in Bellflower, right? And I see Lakewood County Sheriffs, LA County Sheriffs, man, just swarm. And then no one was trying to kill me, man. Of course. I'm crying. I'm freaking out, man. I'm a mess. They're just going to let me dry out, okay? Let me dry out, and then they're going to release me. But I got caught on my warrant. So I ended up doing, they gave me 90 days. I did 72 out of 90 days. But this time, I didn't go to Wayside. They were going to send me to Wayside, but I was getting ready to get housed at Men's Central Jail before it became Twin Towers. They go, one of the trustees, he goes, hey, Holmes, you a veteran? I go, yeah, why? You're going to Linwood, eh? It goes straight up love there. I go, what the hell is Linwood? The Linwood facility? Well, Sheriff Baca, he was a Marine Corps veteran, so he tried to. I don't know if they still have it. It was a dorm for veterans only. You had to be honorably discharged. It doesn't matter your charge, honorably discharged, but try to get your life back together again, right? So I went there. There was no politicking. Okay, you had to take a shower. You was mandatory classes. And that was cool, man. I'm like, damn, I'm safe. It's cool around a bunch of other veterans, right? There's no politics here. I can eat next to a black guy without worried about retribution, right? All this and that. Eat off their, it was nice, man. Right. Besides having that, how it is when you're locked up.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So did that, did my time, got out. But the Salvation Army came in there. And they were showing us how to reintegrate into society, to be a productive member of society, how to interview, how to sit for an interview, how to interview, how to write a resume, all that good stuff. So I get out March 19th in 2003, and then they said we have a facility in Commerce. So my mom comes and gets me. I'm going to Ontario with her. And I tell her, I'm 35 years old. Do I want to live with my mom? I go, Mom, take me to the shelter. So she turns around, takes me to the shelter, and I stay in the Bell shelter for until December of 2003, man. They have a veterans program. I started working. I wanted to get back in the service, right? And met my wife in my mom's church in Hacienda Heights. My current wife, my last wife, all right, the one I got now, the normie wife.
Okay.
All right.
What's your nickname for her?
Huh?
What's your nickname for her?
Oh, wow. It's all kind of nicknames I got for her, man. We're going to leave it like that.
Sergeant something or something?
No, Household 6, man.
Household 6.
Yeah. She's in charge. I'm just the figurehead. Yeah. But, so I wanted to get back in the service, right? So I needed to lose a lot of weight, did all this stuff. So I went to MEPS. So I ended up doing that. and I enlisted in the California National Guard. How I end up getting there is the war just jumped off when the invasion of Iraq. And the recruiter came in, a National Guard recruiter says, "Gentlemen, check it out. We're going to need bodies." No shit, huh?
Bodies.
You're going to need bodies. I can take your age and subtract it by your time in active duty service. If I get you under 36, I could get you in. I said, wow, that makes me 29 years old. Okay, so I went up there, did my paperwork, busted tape. In other words, I was too fat to get in at the time, so they gave me a 90-day time frame. Made it. So I got in. And then I told my wife, well, my girlfriend at the time, I go, I think I'm going to, she goes, I go, I don't want to carry a weapon. I'm done with that, all that, you know. She goes, I'll be a mechanic. She was okay, but then that Jessica Lynch stuff happened during the invasion where that this convoy got ambushed and they captured a bunch of Americans, a bunch of mechanics. So she goes, no, you need to defend yourself because you're going to deploy. I go, all right, I'll be a combat engineer. You shoot people too, man. You get to blow people up. I get to play with explosives. She didn't know that. I go, yeah, combat engineers, they do construction, which we do. But we do construction, but we blow people up also. We plant minefields. We shoot people. So, yeah, so I kind of liked her. But it was good. But anyhow, so we ended up getting married. I deployed to Kosovo. This was 2005, 6. No, 4 or 5, excuse me. And my son was born, Elijah, in 2005 when I was in Kosovo. Come back in 2006, and I go to the border to keep our baby Bush ordered the National Guard to the border to help with the Border Patrol, with the fence and all that good stuff. So I volunteered to keep our relatives from becoming illegal immigrants, man. Yeah. You know, that was cool. Did that for 2 years, and during that time frame, 2007, my youngest was born. So I got 3 kids. My oldest is 34. Elijah will be 19 in July, and then Leah's she's 17. Did that. I was never home. Okay, I was clean. I was abstinent. Been abstinent.
Yeah.
Okay, not working no steps. Not the program. None of that. Because when I was in rehab back in '87, I was forced to go to a room. Okay, won't say the name of it, but it wasn't one with the drugs. It was the other room, and I didn't like it because it was forced on me. So anyhow, went to war, 2008, 2009. Came back and went to Fort Lewis, Washington, where I was training Guard and Reserve units to go to Iraq, Afghanistan, Horn of Africa, putting them in harm's way. After they left us, they were going boots on ground. Yeah. We're gonna in harm's way. So that's where I relapsed. It was in 2010, and I could tell it was taking a toll on me, and I didn't realize it. You know, it was a bunch of sergeants. You know, we're training these people. We're all come back from theater, either Afghanistan or Iraq, and you know how we kill the time. I'll go to the gym after the gym, go back and drink. Tell war stories, just cut it up. But my mental health was lagging. I knew there was something wrong, and I had I had one of my little brother. He's a combat veteran. He's an officer, and he's a cop. And he went to Afghanistan and Iraq. And I was at his house, and I broke down. I just lost it, started crying. Didn't know why. And he's seen the signs, right? My wife seen the signs before I did. My mental health was lacking, and I didn't. I had the help there at the Army post, but I didn't reach out because I thought I can do it all on my own. I could sit there and self-medicate because I know better. My macho machismo ego. Am I rambling too much?
No.
Keep going.
That's exactly how it's supposed to go.
Hey,
You talk most of the time.
Don't you tell me what to do, man.
It's a suggestion.
Now suggestions, huh? Yeah, so, I went to a couple more rehab. I went to one more rehab before I ended up getting in trouble. But, no, that's where I relapsed. 8 years abstinence, but I was gone deploying and playing soldier. And I never really noticed because other people seen that I had issues. my aunt says, this isn't the Carlos I remember as a kid, as a boy, right? My wife said I changed when I came back from Kosovo, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it until later, until I started coming to these rooms here, until I went to the VA program, because of course, you know, I double dip. I'm in the STAR program at the VA at the, you know, for alcohol, drug, and PTSD. I got in trouble. I was looking at 10 years minimum of federal prison time because of my addiction.
You want to talk about that at all?
Sure.
That situation?
I can talk about that. I don't mind, man.
I know that story. And
You know that story? But okay, so
I want to hear it.
what's happening, right? I lived in a place in the high desert, but you know,
When was it? Because this was pretty recent, right?
pretty recent,
So
yeah.
this is kind of like what catapulted you into recovery,
Right.
correct? Okay.
This is what catapulted me into recovery. I already went to one last one. I was on active duty, and that was with a civilian contractor. They had a military wing, active duty, and these cats were coming from theater. I call theater. It's from Iraq, Afghanistan, and these with drug and alcohol and PTSD symptoms. No, we were addicts, but these guys were raw, and we had civilian. Not affiliated with the VA, but civilian people trying to tell us we need to do this, we need to do that, and we didn't take kindly to that.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I relapsed bad, and all my relapses were planned. So we'll go back to, it was like there were some people, and we're not getting into politics. It was kind of political, but leave it like that. Where I can see when something's going on. Okay, I got head on a swivel, and I can, you know. I know when something's not right and people are screwing with me and my family, and I see it. So I'm getting pissed off. So they already took my guns away. Yeah, they took my guns away, man. I'm 5150 from the state of California because of an incident. And that incident, they took my gun, my weapon away from me because my son gave it to him after I told him I didn't have one. So they went and talked to my son and my wife, and she goes, "Yeah, hold on, here it is." Bastard, man. But I forgave him. It's better that they did. So it was a time where I was loaded, man. I was drunk. Every time I was drunk, I would go off the hook, man. And I was going out in my front yard, it's all quiet, and I was saying, "Yeah, listen, you mother, beep, beep, check it out. I'm the speck on the corner. I know you guys are screwing with me. I see you guys. You with the flag. Doesn't matter who starts it. Something happens to my family, me, you're the one who's gonna pay for it. You, your whole family. You guys are done. Doesn't matter who it is. You tell your little buddies. You wanna screw around and find out, you're gonna pay for it. You're not gonna be on this earth no more. Every living thing in your damn household and in your property, they're done." And shit ceased real quick. But I kept doing it. Even after everything went done, 21, you know the episodes that happened there, I kept on. Because stuff was still going on. In my head. Okay? Mm-hmm. In my head.
Yeah.
I was calling elected officials, United States representatives, Congress people, threatening them with great bodily harm. But in my head, I was doing it because of this, that, and the other. Right. So, and my health was going bad. I was drinking all the time. My wife left me more than once. Just me and my son.
So basically, in your head,
Yeah.
you have a reason to be calling these people,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you don't have a reason to be calling these people.
I
and
would
you're
call
threatening them.
back when I was sober, when I was clean, when I was sober, and apologize. They say, "Yeah, okay, we understand." But then again, when I start, whoop, I'll be right back on that phone.
Threatening people's lives.
Yep.
And government official lives.
People, congressmen.
That's the first time I've ever heard it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I heard a lot of stories, bro.
Yeah, that one. Okay. So, I knew I was being watched because I lived down in the desert. Okay, I knew I was being watched because helicopters don't fly right, treetop level over my house for no damn reason. The flight path to Fort Irwin is a certain way. Planes don't fly real low by my house, okay? I know when I'm being watched, and, there's all kinds of stuff. And I train my kids to watch out for certain things, right? Anyhow. But, yeah, one day, November 14th, 2021, man, I got raided by the FBI. That's when they came to get me. Yeah, because I went that Friday. It was on a Sunday. But that Friday, I went to the representative's office in Hesperia.
Fuck.
Load, after I dropped off Elijah to school. Me and Buddy, my little dog Buddy.
Yeah.
I had a cane, and I heard those guys in the back, right? It's at City Hall. I'm already loaded, man. Whew. I hear you guys back there, you big bunch of, get out here. I don't want to talk to you. I'll kick your ass with one damn hand, one arm. I'm sitting there cussing and acting a fool in City Hall. If I was such a danger and they're so afraid of me, why don't they just call the police station right across the street? That's what pissed me the hell off. I still think about it. It makes me hot. I'm like, but what? Would I do that? No, I wouldn't. I'd be afraid too. This crazy mug, man, right there. No one in City Hall is doing anything about it. I go home, okay? And I'll tell them I'll be back. Well, that Sunday, I guess FBI said, okay, we're done. We're getting this guy.
Yeah.
So they came and got me. I was mad. Oh, I was mad still. I didn't go cry. I wasn't crying. I was like this. I was mad. I had a good public defender. She got me released within 24 hours. And I was amazed by that. That never ever happened to me. Wife is not happy at all. She hates my guts. Got you. Has a right to be. To find out, my wife and my psychiatrist before, and I do remember trying to get me into the veterans home down here before. I said, I don't want to go. I don't need that. Well, now I needed it because guess what? I might be going to prison. I don't want to go to prison. But then when I got there, it took me a while, about 6 months, to finally calm down and realize that I am the problem, that I do have issues. And the only one that really had faith in me was my son. My wife didn't. I messed my daughter, my youngest, up so much, man. She couldn't trust dad. But when I started coming to the rooms, the 12-step program, and the VA, and actually getting him working a program, that has started turning around for this addict. I mean, really did. You guys see me come in. You guys see me coming angry, man.
I've told you multiple times about how far you come because you were very angry, very loud, vulgar. I mean, you're still those things at times.
Yeah, sometimes.
But for what you like, it's about progress, not perfection, right? And nobody gets clean and gets perfect, And so like, where you were when I first met you, I don't know how early that was in your recovery, to where you are now, it's completely different. You know what I mean? And that says, first of all, that says something about you because knowing who you are, right, and getting to know you on a personal level, right, I know how stubborn you are. I know how hard-headed you are. And I could see you pushing the line on everybody and saying, no, fuck you, it's your fault, right? And so to get to a place where you're like, okay, maybe I'm the problem is a big deal for a man like you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then to see, so it says a lot about you, right? And then it says a lot about a loving 12-step fellowship, right? Where you could come and cuss us out and scream and make people feel uncomfortable. We're like, hey, keep coming back.
we'll clap for you.
Yeah, we'll clap for you after you cuss us out.
Yeah.
And but that bro, that shows a lot of the program and who you are as a person.
Yeah, and when I seen you guys, I remember you, Mike, coming in raw, little baby boy. And look at you now. I know, bro. No,
it works, man.
Yeah,
you gotta apply yourself.
That's right. I mean, when I heard you share the first time, Adam, I'm like, man, you're crying. I was like, it was powerful, bro. I mean, you moved me. I didn't let you know it, but you did. You know, I tried to be an example after that. No, it took I was hard headed. I didn't want to get a sponsor. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to do steps. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna show you, motherfucker, I can do it on my own, my way. But Carl's way gets me loaded. Carl's way gets me in locked up. All the above, man. So,
and it's painful.
Yeah, it is. And you know, having a good sponsorship family that calls you out, but also checks me checks me out, it just calls you out, but also there and understands. Sometimes I just need to be, there's a lot of things I don't say to a lot of people because it's only reserved for certain people.
Yeah.
Like my veterans groups, that's where I can dump most of my stuff on, and only certain veterans, not all veterans.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's starting to get to know that. I will say some things to certain people. And I know my recovery is a lot better. I've been a service in every meeting. Like after this, I'm going to go be a service at a meeting because that's where I'm giving back. Now I understand where it says to freely give. What was being given to me is given back to others. Now I got to learn how to be a better example.
Yeah.
Oh,
we talked about this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to be a better example, man, because I blew up last Friday, man. Mm-hmm. Oh, did I? But I apologized, kind of.
Well, it's Friday again, so
Friday I could do it now. I could do it again, man. But it's been a journey, and I like it. I like me now.
But even just recognizing, right? Even just like, because that's you being selfless by saying that I need to be an example. I fucked up last Friday, or fucked up last month, or I said this and I shouldn't have, or whatever. Like that's you, right? Showing that you care about people, right? Mm-hmm. Because when we're around here a while, bro, it stops being about us, right? We got to be, like you said, an example, bro. And I mean, fuck, you were around great leaders almost your whole adult life, bro. Right? And if a fucking sergeant is telling you to fucking do something and they're not living like that, how the fuck are you going to respect him?
No, exactly. No.
Right? And it's the same shit in here.
No, exactly, dude.
I'm not going to listen to anybody who talks. Come on, we're all addicts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
One thing that we're good at, bro, is talking out the side of our necks. Bro.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So why, if I've been listening and following people that have been talking out the side of their necks my whole life and don't live what they talk, why would I do that here? Right? And so when we start to look at it from that viewpoint and understand that the like, once we get a certain amount of recovery, I wouldn't even say clean time, because some people can get clean time and not recovery. No judgment, just saying, right? So once you get a certain amount of recovery, right, it's our duty and our obligation to show people the way, not just tell people the way, right? Like early recovery, bro. Like if you weren't from cut from the same cloth, it didn't matter what side of the table you were cut, right? But if you didn't come from the same cloth, like how the fuck you gonna tell me about my addiction?
Yeah.
Right. And that's why addicts helping other addicts just always made sense to me. Mm-hmm. Because this motherfucker, like your sponsor, Frank, hopefully we'll get him on soon, right? Mm-hmm. But Frank is this, I mean, fuck, there's so much similarities, right? We've been through the same thing, and more importantly, we use the same, bro, right? So if that motherfucker, right, could go from being a gangster, a prison fucking person, and not giving a fuck about anybody, to loving, caring, compassionate that he is, then maybe that I can, right? So he's leading by example, and he's leading you by example, right? And my sponsor is leading me, and fuck, I'm leading Mike, and Mike leads me, and Juan leads me, and I lead fucking you know what I'm saying? So there's always like this like push and pull between all of us, and we're just all trying to fucking lead in the right direction, right? And I'll tell you one thing, bro, we can make any mistake we want in the program. As long as we don't pick up and get loaded, we have another Friday to go to the meeting and make our amends there, bro, right? Yeah. If we don't pick up and we don't get loaded, bro, then we have a chance, right? But this whole like being fucking perfect, especially so early in recovery, people think early recovery is like the first 90 days. I've been here for 11 years. I feel that I am still in early recovery. You know what I mean? So like early recovery is the first 5 years, in my opinion, bro. There's a lot that goes into it, bro. And shit that you're not acting out on in the first 2 years, you'll act out in 4 and 5. You know what I'm saying? The shit I didn't act out in 5 years, I'm acting out in 10 years, right?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Yeah. No, I get it big time. Like last one thing I want to bring up is my relationship with my wife is changed 180. I mean, recovery starts at home.
Yep.
It just changed 100%. It changed a lot. And I can tell is how I'm treating other people too. And it takes me a while to be around people. I have to, everyone tells you go into these, I got a convention in my head, bro. I don't need to go nowhere. I got the squirrels up there. I got to, we have fun. But it'd be a minute before you guys are starting to get to know me little by little. That's how I feel better that way.
Yeah.
But my recovery is my recovery, like you said, right? I want to lead by example like I did in the service. And I feel a part of like I did in the service now. And I always wanted to be a part of it when I started coming here and started coming to the rooms. Because that's what I want to do is I wanted to help other addicts because you know what? We're all the same no matter what. At the end of the day, we're all the same.
Yeah.
And how much time you got now, Carlos?
Top secret. You got a secret clearance? I'll tell you later, man. A little over, almost going on 3 years.
Going
a little
on
over
3 years.
2.5, yeah.
2.5 years. All right.
All right, Carlos.
Well, I do have one more question. I know we got to go.
Okay, go ahead.
One question. If you had any advice for anybody from service who is struggling with mental health, struggling with addiction, what advice would you give them?
For any veteran out there, I would tell them to go to the Veterans Affairs, hospital, wherever you're at, Loma Linda or clinic. We got a veterans only group on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock, Tingo Clinic at the clinic, and we got the VA, the one at the VA at 7:30 at the hospital on the second floor. But get involved, get with them because I found there's a lot of veterans in the rooms.
Yeah.
There's a lot of veterans in the rooms, that got all kind of problems. You're not alone. Go to a meeting, whatever meeting you want to go to. Reach out for help because that's what I had to do. Finally, I had to break down and say, I am the problem. I am the issue. So get out there and don't be quiet because, closed mouth don't get fed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
Well, perfect, Carlos. Thank you so much, bro, for coming on. Thank you guys for listening. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
And
we'll
share
see you guys
this with
next week.
someone who needs it.
That's right.
Only if you walked it in my shoes. Looking at the skylight, thinking of my life like looking for the right state of mind to get my time right. I just hope my time's right. Lost up in the limelight, but you'll never know unless you walked up in my shoes.
As someone who struggled with addiction in the past, how does it feel to be able to give hope to others who are still struggling now?
It's such an honor to be able to hear other people's experiences of life, to see how when faced with the very thing that was sent to destroy you, kill you, and take you out forever didn't, but rather you have been given a second chance to give hope and be a light for those who are still in the dark. So don't be afraid to share your message to the world. You never know whose life you might be saving.